UFC 265, Lewis versus Gane has just wrapped up, and what an amazing card this was, top to bottom. I'm going to start with the early prelims, end with the main event, giving my reaction and breakdown to every single fight on the card, starting with the early prelim opener of Johnny Munoz versus Jamey Simmons. I mean, this was just pretty straightforward for Johnny Munoz. Wasn't the best fight in the world, started off a little bit slow in the first round. Jamey Simmons just didn't really have any techniques available to do any damage whatsoever to Johnny Munoz. Johnny Munoz got a takedown at the end of the first round, which I thought secured him that first round. I thought he had the first round anyway without the takedown. Then the second round comes around, Johnny Munoz gets the takedown again, takes the back, locks in the submission, and gets a very nice win over Jamey Simmons with relative ease. Very good performance by Johnny Munoz. Very clear win. Rear naked choke. I thought he had it at first, but Jamey Simmons, credit to him, he wasn't there to quit. He fought out of it very well. Removed the rear naked choke from his back, but Johnny Munoz just stayed on there, rolled over a couple of times, waited for another opening, put the rear naked choke in again, and down goes Jamey Simmons in round two. Johnny Munoz, I mean, he didn't show anything too amazing, but good jiu-jitsu, good grappling, good patience, good awareness, and he beat Jamey Simmons. So Johnny Munoz gets it done, second round submission. Good job to him. He's a young guy. We'll see if he can improve moving forwards, but a great win by Johnny Munoz to start off the card. Moving on up the card, Victoria Leonardo versus Melissa Gatto. I went with Melissa Gatto here by first round submission. She didn't end up doing that. She got a second round TKO over Victoria Leonardo. They say second round TKO. I was kind of right with a submission. I said that Melissa Gatto was going to submit Victoria Leonardo with an armbar. Now, she didn't tap to an armbar, but the armbar was the reason for the finish because she broke Victoria Leonardo's arm, and they stopped the fight between rounds because the arm was just completely broken, had no support structure, and the referee came in, the doctor came in and said it's just too much, you can't fight with a broken arm, and they called off the fight at the end of the second round, but Melissa Gatto was doing really good. In the first round, Leonardo had some moments. I actually still gave the first round to Melissa Gatto. I'll just check the stats right now because it was still a bit of a close round, but I thought Melissa Gatto landed more shots and had a real good start of the round as well against Victoria Leonardo. And also, I think she had a good clinch game. She did more with her grappling. She had a bunch of submission attempts off bottom, landed good total strikes on bottom as well. And then in the second round, she started really piecing up Victoria Leonardo, and I thought she was going to get a finish by TKO on the feet because Victoria Leonardo just couldn't handle the pressure of Melissa Gatto in the second round. But yeah, close round in the first. Second round, Gatto starts dominating after an armbar that breaks the arm of Leonardo in the first, and Melissa Gatto gets it done by TKO at the end of the second. Young girl, good technique, looked okay out there, a little bit slow with the kicks at time, but she's going to improve. Melissa Gatto remains undefeated and gets it done. Moving on up the card, Miles Johns versus Anderson dos Santos. Oh my god, this card. Miles Johns is the real deal. He is really, really, really good. The first round happens. Miles Johns completely schools Anderson dos Santos. The leg kicks that he was landing. He landed about 3 of them in the first round, and Anderson dos Santos was just never the same since those first 3 kicks. A couple of them landed, and Miles Johns just had a limped, wounded opponent in front of him, just waiting to be finished at any moment. And then Miles Johns really started beating the shit out of him in round 2, started landing big combinations, was beating him to the shots every single time. Anderson dos Santos would wind up a big overhand, and Miles Johns would just tuck in a nice little check hook, or he kept doubling up with a check hook moving forwards as well, double jabs, stuff like that. Great body shots from Miles Johns were landed throughout the fight, and those leg kicks were kind of the tail of the tape. The leg kicks, man. He couldn't walk. I thought he was going to get a finish a little bit earlier, but he took his time, waited till the third round, really made sure that Anderson dos Santos was completely done on his leg. Anderson dos Santos just couldn't even stand or walk at one point in the fight. And then round 3, I think even a doctor came in and asked if he was going to continue, and he did. Credit to him. But Anderson dos Santos in the third round, body shot from Miles Johns to a right hook to the jaw. It was one of the nastiest KOs I've seen. It was a great KO. One punch, down he goes, walk-off KO. That's 2 walk-off KOs in a row for Miles Johns. He needs more hype right now. I know he grabbed the glove. I know he grabbed the glove of his last opponent, Kevin Natividad. This makes you forget about that. Crazy KO, amazing technique, wicked finish from Miles Johns. I really hope he got a performance bonus because that was absolutely amazing. Miles Johns gets a TKO in the 3rd round. Amazing performance. I want to see him versus Adrian Yanez next. Rematch. Split decision the first time. Let's make it happen and get a clear winner. Moving on up the card, Manel Kape versus Ode Osbourne. Another amazing fight on the card. Manel Kape goes out there, flying knee in the 1st round against Ode Osbourne. Close match, don't get me wrong, it was pretty competitive until the very end. But man, Manel Kape with a big KO win. Actually, Ode Osbourne was actually up on strikes before the finish. Manel Kape had landed some big shots. Couple of good combinations on the chin of Ode Osbourne. Rocked him at one point early on, I believe. Not too badly, but you could see that Ode Osbourne was like, fuck, I better not get hit by that again. Ode Osbourne landed some good shots on Manel Kape. I think Manel Kape fell over to the ground at one point, and Ode landed a good punch as Manel Kape was getting back to his feet. Landed a good couple of shots on the feet as well against Manel Kape, but then Manel Kape timed that fucking flying knee straight to the jaw of Ode Osbourne and just sent him out of it. It was a bit of a weird stoppage, but it was a good stoppage. He was completely out of it. A couple more shots, he would have been completely out cold. I know he started to rise from the dead again, but at the first time that he went down, he was completely out cold. The referee, if anything, should have got in there a little bit earlier, and it would have been a little bit of more of a normal stoppage. But Manel Kape, great win. He's really the real deal. I've been hyping him up for ages. I didn't pick him against Pantoja. I picked him against Nicolau. He beat Nicolau, let's be real. Great win by Manel Kape. I want to see him versus Rodrigo Bontorin next. Something like that. A great flying knee. The one thing that sucks about this, he missed weight. Shame on him, first of all. But that is so much money down the drain for him. 20% of his purse, which I believe is going to be, if he earns 10 for 10 with 6k Reebok bonus, show and win money, he's going to remove 4k. So he's missed out on that. Plus a bonus as well. He would have got a bonus. He would have got a bonus if he made weight. That's a flying knee KO in the 1st round. Definitely would have got a bonus. Over Miles Johns even. $54,000 he missed out on for missing weight. I hope he never does it again. That's a big lesson to learn. Moving on up the card to the prelims. Karolina Kowalkiewicz versus Jessica Penne. This was the one fight on the prelims that I didn't get correct. Kowalkiewicz just kept re-entering armbar positions. Don't get me wrong, Jessica Penne looked good. She got a submission in the 1st round. Good job, Jessica Penne. Really good win. Got the armbar submission against Karolina Kowalkiewicz. Never seen a dumber fighter than Kowalkiewicz. I think it's time to cut her from the UFC. They won't cut her from the UFC. They'll do her versus Randa Marcos in 2025. But they should. Because she just kept throwing herself into bad positions non-stop. She should have just got back up to her feet. Easily could have done that. Was on top at one point, framing up, stacking the guard with the armbar. Her arm was out of bad danger. And then she just threw herself on bottom against Penne. Just threw herself on bottom. Stupid decision making. I picked Kowalkiewicz to win. What a stupid bitch. Jessica Penne gets an armbar in the 1st round. Good for her, I guess. It's another win on her record. And she got paid 28 for 28. So like, for maybe like 62, 64 grand overall. Good for Jessica Penne. Moving on up the card. Alonzo Menifield versus Ed Herman. I went with Alonzo Menifield by TKO. He could have done it, but he didn't really pull the trigger enough. Good performance by Alonzo Menifield, though. He showed that he can go 3 rounds. Did get caught going a little bit wild here and there against Ed Herman in that 1st round. But other than that, Alonzo Menifield chopped at the legs of Ed Herman. And you could just tell after the 1st round, if Menifield landed too many or 2 more leg kicks in round 2, Herman was not going to be able to walk. Like the way he was walking around at the end of round 1, the leg was on borrowed time, and eventually Alonzo Menifield just chewed it up too much to where Menifield just had full control of the fight against Ed Herman in the 2nd and 3rd round. 42 strikes to 16 in favor of Alonzo Menifield. 28 in comparison to 9 in the 3rd round for Alonzo Menifield. One thing that annoyed me though, he could have finished Ed Herman, but he kind of just reserved himself because he didn't want to risk getting KO'd. But then there were certain moments in the fight where he would swing a massive overhand and risk getting KO'd. Like, I think if he just chopped a couple more times at the legs, went to the body a little bit, and then started setting up some shots upstairs, maybe he could have got a KO, but Ed Herman shows how tough he is. I'll be honest as well, a couple of shots that Alonzo Menifield landed would have normally KO'd other humans. But that ginger man Ed Herman with that meathead of his, he just takes bombs after bombs, like... He's a dangerous guy. They call him short fuse for a reason, I guess. He can take bombs all day. Ed Herman, amazing chin, amazing toughness, but Alonzo Menifield, as I said, too good, too quick. I thought he would get a TKO in the first round, but he ended up just cruising to a unanimous decision win, 30-27 for Alonzo Menifield. Great win, man. Showed that he was doing quite good. Do I think that he's going to be a real threat in the light heavyweight division? I doubt it, but he got a good win against Ed Herman, who's on a 3-fight win streak, so good for Alonzo Menifield. Moving on up the card, Vince Morales versus Drako Rodriguez. I went with Vince Morales by decision. I thought he was going to get the job done 29-28. And he did get the job done 29-28 by decision. Good job for Vince Morales, man. Just out-volumed Drako Rodriguez. I gave Vince Morales the first and the third round. I can even argue the second, but I thought maybe the second would go to Drako Rodriguez. Got a takedown at one point in the fight. Landed a good shot in the second round as well. But the first and third round were just clearly Vince Morales' round. Out-volume Drako Rodriguez, landed better shots as well. Drako Rodriguez would land a couple to the leg, but then Morales would rip to the body and land some good combinations and finish upstairs with a couple of good hooks. Vince Morales just put the pace on him, put the pressure on him, 84-60 on total strikes, 76-55 on significant strikes. Drako Rodriguez is just too patient. Way too patient. And one thing that I noticed immediately in the first round, I said this live on my stream. He's too slow with the jab. Vince Morales keeps catching him over the top of the jab. He's going to continue to catch him over the top with the jab. He kept doing it every single time. Drako Rodriguez would throw a jab out there. It would be way too lazy. And then Vince Morales would just tuck an overhand right over the top and catch him clean on the jaw. I mean, it was an amazing win. It was really an amazing win by Vince Morales. I know they're not the best fighters in the world, so it's not really too much to commend him for, but it was a decent win, man. It was a decent win. Good job to Vince Morales. Put the pressure on Drako. And I feel like got an upset there because a lot of people were picking Drako Rodriguez. Moving on up the card. Bobby Green versus Rafael Fiziev. This is what everyone wants me to talk about, I guess. I went with Rafael Fiziev, 29-28 unanimous decision. I said he'd win the first 2 rounds and then lose the third round and get badly beaten up in the third, but somehow survive because he was gassing out. Exactly what happened. However, there are arguments that Bobby Green can win the first round. I think this fight is truly a close fight. Do you value the volume of Bobby Green or the power shots of Fiziev? I valued watching it live, the clear power shots of Fiziev, and also the reaction that Bobby Green had to some of those shots. Fiziev would get hit by a good shot, and he'd just go, yeah, come on, another jab, will you? I don't really care. Bobby Green would get hit by a shot and he would like fall off balance backwards against the cage, run around to take the center again. Like he was just reacting differently to the shots of Fiziev. I think the first 2 rounds were clearly Fiziev. The last round was clearly Bobby Green. It could have ended up being a 10-8 round. So, who the fuck gave Bobby Green no rounds? Who in their right mind judging that fight gave Rafael Fiziev round 3? In my opinion, there is no explanation for that. If you watch the third round, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Fiziev got beaten up quite badly in the third and visibly gassed out as well. If you give the third round to fucking Fiziev, I don't know what to say. Joshua Ferraro, never even fucking heard of him. Chris Lee and Saudi Amato knew what to do, and they're Chris Lee and Saudi Amato. Josh Ferraro, I swear to God, new judge on the scene, never seen that name before. Pre-written scorecard for Fiziev. I guarantee you. Pre-written scorecard, 30-27 Fiziev. Swear if it was close, they would give it to Fiziev anyway, and it'd be a robbery win, because Fiziev's the younger guy, and Bobby Green's the older guy. I don't mind it. I don't think it was a robbery. I can give Fiziev the first 2 rounds. But man, Fiziev, he's going to have trouble in 5-rounders. He's going to have a big amount of trouble in a 5-rounder. Good cardio. Not good cardio, sorry. Bad cardio. Good power. He overswings a lot of his hooks, in my opinion. I think a little bit more patience would be good. A little bit more of a kick-heavy game, more than punches, would help out Rafael Fiziev as well. But man, in a 5-rounder, there's going to be some problems. So we'll see what he does next. Good win by Rafael Fiziev, though. Good leg kicks, good body kicks, good hooks. Big shots that got the reaction out of Bobby Green that he wanted in the first and second round. Rafael Fiziev got the job done. Close fight, though. Don't mind if you want to give the first round to Bobby Green. I gave it to Fiziev on the damage. But Bobby Green looked good. And yeah, 30-27's dumb as fuck. But there you go. That's MMA. Moving on to another fight on the prelims. No, on the main card. Song Yadong versus Casey Kenney. Now, Song Yadong looked great. He beat Casey Kenney 2-1. He could have won 3-0, I guess, looking at the stats. I thought it was 2-1 to Song Yadong when I was watching it live, at least. Song Yadong gets it done. Just out volumes Kenney, lands the cleaner shots, works the body here and there as well, lands some good leg kicks, and just landed the bigger shots against Casey Kenney. The first round was Song Yadong's. Now, Casey Kenney, I thought, dropped Song Yadong in the first round. There was a moment where Yadong was a little bit off balance and Kenney landed a shot behind his ear and down went Song Yadong. I thought that was a knockdown. So I actually gave Casey Kenney the first round, but I edged out the second and third for Song Yadong. One thing that annoyed me here was Casey Kenney assuming he was up 2 rounds. So he should fire all of his coaches immediately. I don't know who told him he was up 2 rounds. Fire all of his coaches immediately. That was annoying. He thought he won at the end of it. And I feel like they were trying to kind of sway it towards Casey Kenney as well. But either way, Song Yadong looked good. Great takedown defense. Massively improved. And the cardio looked improved as well. Now, did Casey Kenney put a great pace on him and work that body the way he usually does? Not really. Casey Kenney should have thrown a few more body kicks. But Song Yadong looked good, man. Really good out there. Kept good pace. Good takedown defense, showed the improvements that he needed to show for a young guy, and it's probably better than Song Yadong got the win as well, because he is a very young guy, 24 years of age, maybe even 23. Yadong gets it done. Moving on up the card, Tecia Torres versus Angela Hill on the main card. Tecia Torres just whooped that ass for 3 rounds, basically, against Angela Hill. The stats are wrong. I don't believe Angela Hill landed anywhere near that amount of strikes in any way. I swear Tecia Torres was like doubling her most rounds. Tecia Torres just too good, too fast. I thought that's what would happen. I said that Tecia Torres would win a 30-27 unanimous decision. That's what happened. She went out there and got a 30-20. Who gave Angela Hill a round? Jacob Montalvo. 29-28 at Tecia Torres. Who's giving her a round? What is going on? Whatever. What the fuck? I've just noticed that. That is really bad. 30-27 Tecia Torres every single round. Some were close, don't get me wrong, but Tecia Torres just worked her, was way faster than her, was way better than her. I actually described her as an aggressive Michelle Waterson. It's basically what she is. Good side kicks, good taekwondo moves. I know Waterson's more karate, but similar style to a taekwondo style that Tecia Torres has. Good hands, good combinations. She's basically an aggressive Michelle Waterson, and that's something that Michelle Waterson has needed in her career. Tecia Torres ended the round in round 3 on top, got a takedown, landed some good shots there. Great takedown defense in the fight as well. Tecia Torres looked amazing, looked fast, looked clean, looked sweet, and got the job done by unanimous decision. Great kicks to the body. I think that really slowed down Angela Hill. Good jabs as well against a girl with a longer reach than you and a much bigger girl as well, and let's be real. Tecia Torres is a real threat in that division. Do I think she can beat the top girls? I don't know, because she leaves herself open to some shots, and maybe like a Nami Yunus would KO her or something like that, or a Zhang would KO her. But if she fights Yan Xiaonan next, I'll pick her. I think she's pretty good. And let's not forget, she did have that close fight with Yanni and Jacek not too long ago. It was a loss, but it was reasonably competitive. Even though Jacek clearly won, the second round was pretty close. First round clear to Jacek, third round to Jacek. But Torres can hang with the top girls. Can she beat them? I don't know if she can, but she's good. Moving on up the card to the feature fight, Michael Chiesa versus Vicente Luque. People were picking Dash choke submission for Luque. I know they were, so that must make them really, really happy getting that one correct. I said Luque by KO in the first round. I was worried at a moment. Michael Chiesa got a great takedown in the first round, a great blast double leg. He knew he couldn't just go out there and just lean on Luque against the cage and try and get him that way. He had to get a blast reactionary double leg, and that's what he got on Luque. Luque immediately gave up his back, and I thought it was going to be over. Luque immediately gave up his back, and Chiesa started going for a rear naked choke, but Luque defended well. And one thing that Luque did, which is something definitely he learned from training with Gilbert Burns, he got his hips out of the rear naked choke. If you can get your hips out, the guy who's cranking on your neck has not got a good angle on you anymore. You're turning your head over, and he's basically cranking you into his guard. essentially. He's ripping on your neck. You're trying to go that way anyway because you've got your hips out. So he's basically pulling you on top of him into half guard. And Luque gets it done against Michael Chiesa with a dash choke submission. Flips him over. Ragdolls him. Chiesa has to tap in the first round. Luque looks great. He also actually looked like he knocked down Chiesa at one point in the fight. Landed a pretty good check hook that put Chiesa down for a second. But Chiesa was off balance, so it doesn't count as a knockdown. But Luque looked great. Looked great. Got taken down. Showed his neck a little bit. Gave great defensive technique on the ground. Didn't give up his back again the second time. Evaded the choke. Got his hips out to the side. Eventually put in the submission when he needed to by dash choke. Michael Chiesa got submitted in the first round by Vicente Luque. I think he might be coming up to the top dash choke finisher in the UFC, Vicente Luque. He's had so many of them. I think he can beat Woodley. I think he can beat Usman maybe in a couple of years. In a year's time, Luque beats 35-year-old Usman. Maybe not now. I think he needs a couple more wins. Maybe one against Gilbert Burns. That would be great, but they're best friends, so they might not do it. But Vicente Luque, amazing performance against Michael Chiesa. First round submission. Was a little bit hairy at a time there, but Luque showed his patience, showed his takedown defense, showed his grappling defense, and eventually got the submission on Chiesa. Great job, Luque. Moving on up the card, Jose Aldo versus Pedro Munhoz. Aldo is back in the mix and better than ever, dare I say. Aldo looked like he never skipped a day. He looked like a young guy on the come-up, ready to make a statement for himself. He went out there against Pedro Munhoz and tooled him up for 3 straight rounds. I've made a full fight reaction to this on my channel, but man, Jose Aldo tuned up Munhoz for 3 straight rounds. The first round was close. Second round, Aldo started finding those body shots a little more and some leg kicks of his own that started to slow down Munhoz. Third round, all Aldo. And in the third round of a fight with Pedro Munhoz, the pressuring guy that's going to break you, Aldo's tuning him up in round 3. Crazy to see. Aldo's better than ever. He's back in the mix, and he's still the featherweight GOAT, no matter what Joe Rogan says about Max Holloway defending the belt twice. Aldo's the featherweight GOAT, for sure. And he's still maybe in the GOAT conversation. Like I was saying this in my in a comment section somewhere. Jose Aldo, if he wins the belt at bantamweight, top 5 GOATs of all time. If he wins the belt at bantamweight and retires, top 5 of all time maybe. The credentials that he has, he doesn't have many losses. Holloway twice, Volkanovski once, which makes Volkanovski look amazing because he beat 3-round Aldo in Brazil. What else happened in his career that he lost? He lost to Moraes, controversial decision. Lost to Piotr. Those aren't bad people to lose to. And now Aldo's back in position for a title elimination bout. Him versus Rob Font. Make it 5 rounds. If I watch Aldo go 5 rounds the way he did against Munhoz in this 3-rounder, he might get the belt back, in all honesty. Dangerous, dangerous guy. Still in the mix. Still looking amazing. Huge for bantamweight. Great power at bantamweight as well. Munhoz had to respect it and couldn't pressure him down. Aldo gets it done. Amazing performance. 30-27 clearly. Could have been 29-28, but I had 30-27. Great win by Jose Aldo. Moving on to the main event. Derrick Lewis versus Ciryl Gane. I said 3rd round TKO against the cage with ground and pound. And it happened by 3rd round TKO against the cage by ground and pound. Ciryl Gane's just too good. Great footwork, great movement, great fight IQ, not to go in there and get reckless whenever the crowd started booing his inactivity. Just tuned up Derrick Lewis from range. Ciryl Gane is amazing to watch. Oblique kicks to the leg, jab to the face, front kicks to the stomach, teeps to the stomach as well. Hard leg kicks to the legs. In the first round, he didn't throw many of them because he knew that Derrick Lewis could maybe land that one big shot in the first. Once Derrick Lewis started to slow down, touch at his eye because of the jab, touch at his stomach because of the front kicks, then Ciryl Gane started to hack at that lead leg really hard with some brutal leg kicks. And you could see the difference between a Ciryl Gane who wants to point score on your leg compared to a Ciryl Gane who wants to hurt your leg. And that's what we saw out there. Ciryl Gane went from tapping at the lead leg in the first round, slowing Derrick Lewis down, to fucking hacking at that lead leg, chewing it up really badly. Derrick Lewis could barely walk, and eventually gets finished against the cage in the 3rd round. And after the 2nd round, you could kind of see that Derrick Lewis wanted out there. He faked that he got hit by an eye poke and tried to get timeout, even though there wasn't any timeout to be had. And eventually he gets put down. At one point, even he spat his mouthpiece out, and the ref stopped it in the middle of action to give him his mouthpiece back. But Ciryl Gane's just too good. At one point as well, I've made a full fight reaction to this if you want to check it out on my channel. Gane landed like an inverted Yair Rodriguez elbow up this way, and then came over the front and landed one up close as well. It was a great combination. Gane showed why he's so good, and I think he beats Ngannou. I think that was a good enough performance to say he beats Ngannou. And if he beats Ngannou, I don't see anyone beating him for 3 years, at least. So he might be the GOAT of heavyweight soon. We'll see how it goes. Ciryl Gane, 10-0, undefeated 3 years ago. He hadn't even competed in MMA once. Now he's a champion at heavyweight. He's not the heavyweight champ. He's the interim champ. However, Ciryl Gane looked amazing. Got the third round TKO. I'm sure Dana White's happy that he got a finish, because if Gane just stood at range for 5 rounds, I can only imagine what Dana White would have to say about him. But great win by Ciryl Gane. Him versus Ngannou is actually a compelling, competitive matchup. Looking forward to it. Like and subscribe. Thank you for watching. Click that button up there. Toodle pip. I'll see you later. Amazing card, though. Event recap. Fight of the night, I would say, would have to be Bobby Green Fiziev, obviously. And that would help Bobby Green as well, because he didn't get his win bonus, if you argue that he should have won, which I don't. Performance bonuses. Luque with a submission over Michael Chiesa, and then I'll give another performance bonus to Miles Johns for his KO on the prelims, because you can't give it to Manel Kape because he missed weight. Moving on to nothing. Like and subscribe. Click that button up there. Toodle pip. I'll see you later. Amazing fight card. Stacked top to bottom. Great fights. Great finishes. Goodbye.